Welcome to the DJ Insider Podcast, sponsored by Amplified Events.
It's the only podcast where we break down insider information from our weddings, experiences, and advice from over 15 years in the wedding industry.
We're your hosts. I'm Mike Kane, owner of Amplified Events.
And I'm Chris Zart, general manager of Amplified Events.
Let's get into it. Well, we're back in the studio, and today we have a familiar face on the podcast. Welcome back, Joe Christian from Arrested Sounds.
Thank you, Mike. Glad to be here. I was looking forward to coming back.
Yeah. So did you have some weddings last weekend?
I did, but first,
yeah.
I'm gonna do a big promo for you here, if
cool.
possible. I consider myself probably the number one podcast fan.
Yes, absolutely. Super fan.
I have not missed a single episode. On Monday when they drop, I'm always like, enjoy it. Enjoy every week. I think it was a couple weeks ago. Monday came, nothing dropped. I texted you. I was like, Mike, where's my episode at? So for everybody that's out there that isn't listening, I promise you, you want to listen. I don't know which camera I'm supposed to look at here.
I think this one.
You want to listen. Put it on your weekly thing. Add it to your list. Whatever you need to do, you will pull information every single time. Plus, it's just a great podcast to listen to. Funny, entertaining, but definitely the knowledge that you're going to get out of it, whether you're a bride or whether you're a vendor in the actual industry, you've got to. You owe it to yourself to listen.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. And sorry we've been kind of gotten off the schedule. We're trying to get back in where we have enough in the can where we can take a week off. We just took some vacation and stuff, so we didn't have time to record, and so that caused a lapse. So.
It's okay. It just I didn't know what was going on that week. My week was completely screwed up because I didn't get to hear you and Chris with the information and what you guys had going on. So.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming, and we're excited to have you back. And so you said you did have a few weddings.
I had wedding Saturday, wedding Sunday, and wedding Friday, wedding Saturday. Jeez, and they were special weddings because I had my two best guys with me on either day. So I had Tony with me on Friday. And, he is really he was my first actual, we'll call other DJ, where I went from a single op to a multi-op years ago. And it just kind of happened overnight. And so it was really nice to have him back. Going into it, I knew it didn't matter what was going on, that it would be a stellar night because I had Tony. I haven't worked with him probably since last year, just because he's doing his own weddings and own events, and so it just stars aligned. And he was like, "Yeah, I'm free. I'll be more than happy to join you for this wedding." So it was cool. A great wedding, great couple, great venue. We're down at Sandy Pines, and can't say enough about how good Sandy Pines is. Just for everything involved to have and make for a great wedding night. And then Saturday was at Sand Creek, and I had Johnsy with me, who Johnsy's been with me for probably, I would say 5 or 6 years now, roughly, and kills and crushes his weddings and events. So going into that one, I knew it was going to be an extra special wedding just because it was a big grouper, like 230-ish, 220-ish in that realm.
Hopefully got some dancers in that group.
Knew a good amount of the people that were going to be there, so knew what to expect, and they didn't disappoint. They understood the assignment in a big way. And I had Mason from Raycroft Recordings.
Oh, perfect.
She came out and shot video for us for a promo, so look for that probably, maybe, I don't know, I would say around November-ish is when I'll start pumping that out once she gets it to me. So was really excited to collaborate with her on that. And her being a professional, she wanted to know what I wanted, and I said, "This is what you do. I see your videos. I see the time, effort, and craftsmanship that you put into your work. I'm like, you do you. I trust you to do it.
Oh, I love that.
And you, if you think it's good, I promise I'm going to think it's great." So
It's music. Those are the music to the vendor's ears when you hear that in couples. Like, we trust you.
There's
You know?
nothing. There's nothing like it. There's nothing like it. So she was happy, and she did her thing, and I can't wait to see what she does out of it.
Nice.
But yeah, the wedding Saturday was killer from start to finish.
Oh, love it.
Excellent bride and groom, excellent group, venue's fantastic. Another obviously complete different venue, but set up the right way to make for a great night.
Yeah, yeah. And then we were talking earlier about ideal clients. You know, when you're shopping for your wedding, you're looking for ideal vendors. The vendors that both they can kind of bring my vision to life. They have enough experience at my venue or doing this that I can trust my wedding with them. But us vendors, we have that too. Where when we're working with clients, when people inquire and we're talking to them, is this my ideal client? And what things am I looking for as a vendor that that client has or that venue has or those kind of things? Do you have anything like that yourself?
Yes. So, and we work with all different types of clients. I mean, we're never going to turn anybody away.
Sure.
But, we do have, the ideal client, and it's somebody that knows what they want.
Yes.
And then most importantly, what they don't want. And then everything else I love, just like I told Mason, you do you. You're the professional.
Yeah.
And so when our clients understand, what we do, how we do it, and trust us to just do what we do, that's when we have some of the best nights because they're relaxed. We know they trust us. We're going to follow their wishes to a T. We're going to avoid everything that they don't want to do. And then they're going to let us, really just use our skills to make the night everything that they wanted and more. And so that's our ideal client. Now, have we worked with clients in the past that are very particular about things? Yes. But it's still, they know what they want and what they don't want.
Yeah.
Occasionally we work with somebody that just can't relax and wants to be in complete and utter control of everything. And, we will do, obviously we're going to work with, them, but I will tell you there's a different product on those because that couple isn't relaxed and they're not enjoying the night because they're worried about everything else instead of trusting the people that you hired that do this, day in and day out and have the ultimate goal of making sure that in 20 years they remember what an amazing night it was. And, I normally put this in with when I'm talking with or speaking with couples, whether consultations or first couple meetings. Was my 24th wedding anniversary this past June 24th.
Congrats.
Thanks. I remember my wedding night because there were things that were important to us and things that weren't. The DJ, his name was Jeff Metz. He worked for Trans Audio. Trans Audio is still in business. I don't know where Jeff Metz is at. But to remember his name and remember the company from 24 years ago, obviously there was a huge impact. And I would go do it tomorrow. And just recreate everything. It was such an awesome night where we partied and danced and partied. And that's even now family members, friends, whatever, they're like, dude, your wedding was so awesome. Like, it was. Let's do it again.
You have that for life. I mean, that's a priceless thing. That's something they can't take from you, that memory, those experiences. And I would fire my guy. I did it myself. I would fire my guy and not rehire him.
That had to be tough.
Yeah, that was 12 years ago. And yeah, it was tough. Don't recommend. Don't save the money. I thought I was so smart. I DJ, I'll just save them. No, then you're working and you don't get to enjoy. And then it's just a playlist or you're behind the boards mixing. It's not fun. Or one of your family or friends is doing that for free. So it was a mistake. I learned my lesson. But it was still a good party, good family, friends. We had a good time. But yeah, the things I'm looking for, is having kind of an idea of their vision, what they want, but not being inflexible about that, So let me know what's important to you. Let me know what's not important to you, and we'll make it happen. I like to kind of collaborate with people like that. I love when a client, they're at a venue that I'm comfortable, familiar with, and they know, like, they're going to party. Like, you can tell they're bringing the energy. They're bringing enough people, and their people are all in. They want to dance. They want to have a good time. I love when, they give me, hey, here's 10 songs we love, here's 10 songs we want to avoid, and you just craft our night. We trust you to kind of do that thing. Because, like there's those times where like we need to take it to another level. Like we need to get them going, or like we need to reset, and having the control when you're running the thing to make that happen is really what you want to do as a DJ. I'm thinking like as a photographer, I can't imagine if I'm taking a shot and they're telling me to like refocus or do a different flash or different lighting. They're literally commenting about what the photo is going to be when you're taking it. That's what people do all the time to DJs when they're like, oh, let me request this song, or how about this one next? I was like, well, that one next is going to kill the energy. We're going to lose everybody, But yeah, if that's what you want, we'll do it. We're in the name of service, but when you just like, trust me, give me a few songs and I'll work that one in. If that's important to you, But generally, I like to know advance what was on their list, what's happening. I'm trying to think other things ideal. Definitely, yeah, people who understand what we do and what we don't do. And it's always weird to me. We get people who inquire and who are like, yeah, we're not big dancers. We don't really want to dance. We don't expect anybody to dance. I'm like, why? Why are you hiring a DJ? You don't have to, I'm like, well, it's just what you do. I was like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, we occasionally, work with somebody like that. But I will tell you, we have had times, I personally have had enough times where I've gotten that, well, we're not really big dancers and, don't expect a giant party. And, that's just not our vibe. Mm. And then the night of, that's exactly what it is. And it's like, you guys are liars. You did this on purpose. And, of course, they're always appreciative of that. But occasionally you do. Like I had a wedding, it's been a couple of years ago, where they told me that. Mm. And I was like, okay, then we'll see, if we can get anything going. If not, we can pivot and let's do, basically a chill, playlist.
Yeah.
And that's what we tried, and it just wasn't happening.
Sure.
And so we pivoted, did, more of cocktail lounge style, and that was their vibe, and they were cool, and everybody was happy, and family and friends stuck around, and it worked. So, I mean, not every event, every wedding is going to be, a rager by any means.
Yeah.
But if you meet and exceed the expectations of what your client wants, because you've listened, they've entrusted on what your skills, but most importantly, you have listened to what their wishes are, then that's all that matters.
Yeah. Yeah. You can have a lot of fun not dancing at a wedding. And even if there's not a full floor, you can still have a really good time. Even if you don't hear your song request, you can still have fun. Trust me, I do it all the time. But yeah, we're also talking about like how DJs there's that common phrase I hear all the time from couples, and I think it's true that DJs will make or break a wedding. Do you kind of agree with that statement? And what are some ways that you think DJs can make or break a wedding?
100%. Way back when I was working security for weddings, I had the opportunity of seeing really good DJs. Mm. And really horrible DJs. So I will 100% tell you, in the early 2000s, I ran the wedding circuit security end, and yeah, there's
anything stand out to you that like, wow, they ruined this wedding. They
not having the proper equipment is number one.
Wow,
like. Somebody bring in, I literally watched at a wedding, somebody bring in like a home bookshelf system. Like with no speakers with no microphone, and was just yelling everything.
Oh, no.
Okay. So that was probably the worst. You can just probably guess the actual service that was out of that.
Oh my gosh.
And then the other end is, as lighting became something that DJs did, and this would have been probably the last time I did any security at a wedding, 2007, 2008, in that realm. Lighting was really just coming about, and a company came in from out of Chicago, and I've never seen, now it's pretty standard for any, I'll call a high-end company.
Sure.
to have up lighting and good effect lighting and placement and use. But back then it wasn't. I mean, at my wedding, which was 2000, we didn't have any lighting. It just wasn't a standard.
Yeah.
So that company come in, and I was like, whoa. These guys know what they're doing. This is professional. Actually had a lighting tech and a DJ. Yeah, so it was pretty cool. But playing the songs like that was. I used to pick the brains of the DJs. Of course, you take advantage of the scenery that you're in, and the good ones had their lists right there. This was again. It was prior to digital. DJing, so it wasn't like we create or have crates now and everything's in there. This was like literally paper and pencil or typed out list, and they had the CDs that they would make up ahead of time with all their the songs that were special to them, and it was CDJs or some were record and tape too.
Wow.
But the being prepared. That was, a DJ that's prepared, a professional DJ that's prepared, not just one that occasionally does a birthday party or something, and then it's like, oh yeah, I can do that wedding. Like having an actual professional on site, and I'm sure you can agree with me on this. Like we all at some point started in the wedding game, and I can think of my first wedding was a mess. Like it was a mess. I thought I was prepared. I wasn't. Of course, my price at the time reflected what it was, and the couple were, they were good with it, but slowly, experience and learning and being even more prepared and proper equipment. And, that's the difference. Like, if we have an issue at a wedding, me or one of my guys, we're going to have backups. We're going to have ways to avoid anybody even knowing that, that we had this go out or that go out or whatever, because we're prepared and we're professional. We will have all lists. We will have met with the bride at least twice, generally 3 times. And then day of, we're going to meet with them one last time and go over the complete itinerary, confirming every single aspect of the night. Wow. That way there's no
chance.
And it brings them down. They're like, okay, these guys are good to go. Everything's exactly the way that I want. And then we go. So, in my mind, that's the level that we should be at as professionals in the industry that will make a wedding. Breaking it, just do the opposite. Wrong equipment, not prepared, no backups, just not knowing what to do. Could I go fake and be a photographer at a wedding? Yeah, I could probably go fake and be that. I would hate to see what the end product is.
The pictures.
Like
the outcome might be changing.
Yeah, like I day of, I would like, okay, we're supposed to do this, supposed to do that, supposed to that. Yep. Mm-hmm. And then when it came to deliver the photos, I'm guessing with certainty that it would be like, oh boy. Oh, well, sorry you had one chance to get this right and we didn't. But hey, here you go.
Yes.
Hope you're happy. So, yeah. Make or break is a huge thing, and nobody wants to have their day ruined by anything. But having professionals that can regroup or recenter or come up with ways of fixing things, and have an actual team. When I say team, like DJ, because normally on site, DJ, photographer, venue, and that's normally who we're dealing with. Sometimes videographers, but when there's hiccups or issues or power outages or, like I think it was the last podcast before, you guys were talking about some of the issues that you had, power outages, and how you were immediately able to, get things in play to not have the day ruined.
Yeah.
Somebody that is a hobbyist DJ isn't going to pull that off, and the day is going to be ruined. Yeah. So it's going to break.
Have no way to play music for forever. That's a real problem. That's your whole job, what they're paying you to do. And I love that. If there's a problem, we'll solve it. Just that attitude of, and ideally we'll solve it in a secret way you won't know about. That's our headache to deal with, so you get to relax and enjoy the wedding. I like going over I haven't done that. I usually generally do it like, okay, we're going to do this, then we're going to do this. I realize I do a portion of that, but not at the first of the day. I like that because it does kind of, oh yeah, that's right. We did say that. Oh, and there's this last minute change. They can kind of get the last minute stuff out. I'm gonna try that. I really like that because then they're in party mode.
And I like for me, I don't like to be surprised by anything. And so, confirming the last thing before ceremony and everything, like getting all the stuff set up and going and actually meeting, and not with the groom, because generally, guys, like I was a groom once. I was a horrible groom. Like I was there for the party.
Yeah.
That's basically what I did. I showed up and my pants were too short. Like, I couldn't even pull that off.
Oh no.
So most of our grooms have very little to do other than they're there for the support at our meetings, but the brides are where it's at. So that's who we meet with. Once we confirm everything with our brides, then she can relax, but also we can relax.
Yeah.
There's no guessing. It's like, okay, we've confirmed everything day of, we're good. All we have to do is now execute that, and we're going to do that at a high level every time.
I mean, I love it. That's really what we're charging for. That's what you're paying for, so we can guarantee a certain outcome.
Yes.
Otherwise, yes, we play music. Yes, we MC. Yes, we mix music, but we're really in the business of throwing a great party, and ideally doing it in a way where you can relax. You just hire us. We're going to meet with you. We're going to get to know what you want. We're going to make that happen, and we want you to have an amazing time. That's what I sometimes I deal with a lot of couples who are like, we don't know what we want, or like, we're not sure if it's okay. We just want everyone to have fun. And I'm like, okay, well, what does that mean to you? What does that mean to your guests? What kind of things do you like? Sometimes you kind of pull that out of people, and or you learn it by the crowd responding to the songs. Oh, they love this, they're going to love this next one, kind of thing. I totally agree. Yeah. Break. Definitely seeing when someone is awkward on the microphone, or when they're not on the mic at all and nobody knows what's going on, and all of a sudden the first dance starts, what? When there's people kind of like that, when they know somebody's in charge of this thing. They know that here's when to clap, here's what to do, here's what your job is, and they know that you're the guy for that. That allows everyone to have a good time and relax. Oh, okay. I'm not going to miss anything because they'll announce it. Now's a good time to go do this. And generally, I'll do that too. Grab a drink, use the restroom. We're going to get started with speeches, or I hope you brought your dancing shoes. Go ahead and stretch, whatever it is. But you're always making it fun.
A little warm up.
You're making people relax. You're making it so people know that they're going to be taken care of and they're going to have a good time. What are the things that guests do that kind of make or break? I mean, to me, any guest who's like, I'm going to make this about me. I'm going to make a big fight or a big scene, big drama. I'm going to cause fights with the vendor.
Yes. So, I'm sure we all have our horror stories about people that have shown up to a wedding and the day's not about them, but they're going to do their damnedest to make it about them. And they need some attention because they're a me first type of person. I had a great comment on Saturday, and this was, I'll call, friends of ours. She came up and she was like, I'd really love to hear some Queen. And we had just played one of the bride's requests, which was Queen. And I was like, okay. I said, I think that we can probably get, one more in, and music to my ears, no pun intended. She said, the day is not about me. So if you can get it in, great. And if not, this isn't my day, so it's okay. And I was like, okay, cool, thanks. And we didn't end up getting it in because the bride came up with, some more requests, with, as her girl group were, getting at it. And so we didn't get to the request, but the bride was happy. Of course, the friend was happy too. They understood. They've been at a couple of the weddings that we've done. So, but yes, the guest that shows up and doesn't realize that it's not their day, those are the ones that can break. And really, one major incident can cause a day to be, really, I'm not going to call it ruined, but it can cause, a couple hours of trying to get things back into happy, let's be excited. Let's bring the energy back. One single guest can pull that off. And I've seen it happen a couple times, which is like, what are you thinking? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. You've ruined the day, or at least the last hour or so you've ruined, and it's not even your day. you're not, the only tie you have here is you're here as a guest of a guest.
Yeah.
You're the plus one, and
Yeah.
you don't even know these.
Here.
Yes.
Yeah.
that one always
irks me. Yeah. The closer they are to family of the bride and groom, of course, that you take what they're saying more serious. And it is a stressful day for them too. And so I have a little more grace and understanding when family are having a hard time with it. Sometimes, if there's a brother getting married before or a sister getting married, and that's hard. That brings up its own stressors and challenges for people. But when it's a plus one who doesn't know anybody or a crasher or something, that's we're not the same as a pilot or a surgeon, but they don't allow people in those rooms when they're operating, when they're flying. And there's good reason. People would die. You don't want to distract the person from doing their job. You want them in a good mood. You want them alert and awake. And that's what you want in a DJ. You want the DJ in a good mood, alert, and not distracted, dealing with this drama about, I want to hear my song, or how come you played that song, but you didn't play this other song? They come up with 20 requests.
Yeah.
One, and it's a request, just an ask.
It's a request. Yeah. We'll see what we can do about getting that in.
That's it.
And I like to be upfront. If it's like, oh yeah, I think that'll work. Okay, cool. Yeah. Or I'll do my best, but I'm not sure. Or it's just not going to happen.
Couple has told us we're not.
Yeah,
doing that kind of music.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And if somebody gets upset over that, I mean,
how about a nice waltz? Yeah. Well, at your wedding, we can definitely do that. If you want to waltz, we'll waltz away, but not this wedding.
Yeah. You see if we can get
that moonlight serenade
as they're walking away.
Yeah.
I look at my assistant like, yeah, that's not going to happen. There's no way.
Yeah, I'm always trying to be respectful and kind to people, but when they are nasty or rude or in my face, and everybody can make it about them. I see it in speeches too. I think people can make the speech all about them, and they think they're funny, and they're dying, and they're killing the energy. They're just draining it, and people are not having fun now. And to me, it bears repeating because I see it at a lot of weddings where the speeches go on too long. They don't really say too much about anything about the couple, which that's what it's supposed to be, right? It's supposed to be a gift to uplift and honor the couple, or important guests there, and when the people make it about them, they talk too long. They say something that really alienates or offends people. The worst, though, is when they're just boring. They just put everyone to sleep, and it's like, well, that took an hour and a half, and now dinner's pushed back, and catering's upset because food is not hot and ready, and that's going to push back photos, that's going to push back first dances, and that's going to eat into our party time because this person really wanted to talk. Broke the wedding, you see that.
Yeah, like on speeches, if anybody that's doing a speech at a wedding, which is wedding specific, if anybody that's listening to this or listens to it later on, when you're doing a speech, if your goal in the speech is for people to congratulate you on how great of a speech that is, then you shouldn't give a speech. Because guaranteed that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Short, sweet, to the point. If you are, honored to the point of they've asked you to do a speech, then do that. I like to say 3 minutes or less, but really 2 minutes.
Oh my goodness.
2 minutes or less, unless you are an amazing public speaker. And even at that,
keep it short.
They're going to keep it short. My wedding this past Saturday, I told the father of the bride, probably top 2, 3 best father of the bride speeches I've ever had. 4 minutes long.
Yeah.
Humorous, to the point, well-spoken. Everybody was engaged with them, and it was 4 minutes. Mm-hmm. I had a father of the bride speech that went 21 minutes and went to nothing. Like, it made no sense. And people were just like, what's going on here? So don't ever make a speech at a wedding about you to where you think that people are going to love this speech, because they're not. People are there for the bride and groom.
Yeah.
You are just there to enhance the experience. Enhance it a minute or two at a time. That's it.
You have a position of honor to be able to speak for everybody about this couple. And when you make it about you and you go on forever, you take away that specialness. And honestly, the energy. You take away the fun of the night. And you're eating up time that you're not getting back. we're leaving at 11 if we're done at 11. We're leaving at midnight if we're done at midnight. But
every minute costs money.
That's it. And there's a consequence to that. We call it a spicy consequence.
Yeah.
But people make it about them. It doesn't happen often with other vendors, but occasionally I'll get these vendors who think their thing is the most important thing. You know, it doesn't happen often. Occasionally you'll get some venue people or even some decor people who are like, they're going to use our table. I don't use a table anymore, but back in the days, they would have their whole stuff, glassware, just tons and tons of stuff on the DJ table. Yeah. And I'm like, I can't set up. I have to wait and delay what I'm doing. I'm happy to help them. I'm happy to, that doesn't happen very much. I've never had a wedding ruined, but it definitely affected things by a decor person. But definitely, some photographers who were like, nope, we're just going to just disappear with the couple, not tell you. And so you're just going to be in the lurch waiting to start the party or in the middle of the party. And everybody's like, where's the bride and groom? If they're not dancing, I'm not going to dance, whatever. They must have left.
I mean, you bring up a great point there. And it's something that, the past couple of years I've been really stressing to brides and grooms. Your people are going to be wherever you're at. If you're outside, they're going to be outside. If you're on a dance floor, you're going to be on a dance floor. If you're standing by the bar, they're going to stand by the bar. On your night, depending on your level of expectation of what you want it to be, keep that in mind.
Yeah.
And a couple podcasts ago, Chris said he uses a 3-song method.
Yes.
And we've incorporated that company-wide at my place now. Was an immediate addition, which is why any vendors out there, you should be listening to this podcast because you're going to get stuff like that.
Little tidbits.
Been doing this a long time, and that never clicked to me. Had I not been listening to the podcast, I would have never got that information. I remember, I was out on my walk, which is normally when I do the podcast. Texting you, I was like, "Tell Chris that was amazing." But I went into all of our planning forms, and it's been added.
I love that. It's part of the planning process now. As
a way to, again, recenter and get things back to where they are. If the bride and groom get caught up with over here or over there or getting pulled places, putting that system in of when they hear the song, that's the reminder, we need you to get you back on the dance floor. Because that's their expectation of what they wanted is they wanted a killer party and everyone had a great time. And it's kind of dying and we're trying some tricks and ultimately we need our bride and groom to re-energize.
Yeah.
So bride and groom, keep that in mind. Wherever you're at the day of, that's where your people are going to be.
Yeah. So. Yeah. If you're off taking photos all night, that's where the guests will be too. There'll be a few dancers. Some people do their own, but the kind of attitude of the group, they're looking to you to lead us because we're here for you. It's your party, and so, that's an important thing for couples to know. But I love, the check-in song. Secret check-in songs that if you haven't seen us dancing on the dance floor after about half hour, play this song and that's a secret message to the bride and groom. Get out there and dance.
Yes. And when you don't have to use those, like my past 2 weddings, didn't have to use them. That's when you know.
Yeah, it's going good.
End of the night, that's when you know this is going to be a top tier party because the bride and groom haven't left the dance floor, or if they have. They've left long enough, but they're right back.
Yes.
They know what they wanted, and they're delivering on our end, and we're delivering on our end, and makes for everybody to have such a good time, good night.
Yeah. So. And that came about from a couple who really knew themselves. They knew that we get to talking with our family and friends, and we may forget to dance. So we would like the DJ just to subtly remind us using these songs when they feel it's appropriate. We haven't seen them dancing. Let's get them out here. I love it. I love it. It's a great idea. And it's really knowing yourself and knowing how you're going to be in that day. It's easier for us to help you have the best time possible when we know you and know what you want. So, I love it. Well, this has been such a treat. Any topics, any other things we haven't covered yet? Music, yes. Songs awesome. Any songs that are hitting or not hitting?
I mean, for me right now, and I'm going to get the name wrong, but I believe it's I Need Some Help or Can I Get Some Help, Morgan Wallen, Post Malone.
Yes.
There's a couple different versions out there depending on what type of group that we have. There's the straightforward original, which is got some country twangy, but then there's some remixes out there that completely have taken the country twangy out. And I used 2 different versions this past weekend, and both versions, went really well. So that's been, for July 2024, that's been a good one. There's another one, and I can't remember. Oh, the Shabuzi right now it's on its last breath, I think.
Yeah.
As opposed to in May, early June, like it was, you played it and you got the oohs and the ahs.
Yeah.
Now people are just like, oh, okay, I and played it. But yeah, then really, my 2 weddings this past weekend, their request list, the bridegroom request list, if I put them side by side, I bet you plus or minus 5 songs.
Wow.
And it would be the same request list. And I see, we're evolving because just age and time and really lack of quality dance music right now. Anything that's new, as opposed to, I don't know if you remember the 2010, 11, 12, 13,
Sure.
14, like
We call them, don't call those bangers.
it was just like everybody was putting stuff, and it was like, oh
Party
my
rockers,
God. Yeah. Like, how can it get any better? Oh, it just got better. Oh, it just got better. We haven't had that in how many years? So we gravitated back to, the really 2000s, early 2010s. At this point we're seeing that, that's what most of our 20-something brides, grooms, that's where playlists are going.
Yeah.
Because there's just nothing out, which is cool.
Yeah.
Because, some of the stuff that we weren't using because it had reached that, it's been overplayed. Now we're pulling that back
that's
out.
coming back in, yeah.
And it's not overplayed anymore because it hasn't been played in a while. So, but yeah, like the 2000s, pop is big, and that's what this wedding playlist was like 2000s pop with some hip hop and, just really, say 2000 to 2012 in that realm. That was what both playlists really was comprised of, which surprised me because bride and groom for both weddings, completely different.
Yeah.
My Friday wedding, our cocktail dinner was very heavy country, like 99% country. Ooh. And then for my Saturday wedding, not so much. It was some newer stuff, some, indie rock, like that kind of stuff. And it they both of them worked well. But then party playlist, pretty close. So I see that, that trend slowly happening. And even, coming out of prom season, where prom season was at, other than some of the new stuff, the new inappropriate stuff that we really couldn't play. A couple of schools were allowing the heavily edited clean versions.
Yeah.
Most of the schools were like,
nah,
it just isn't going to happen. Sorry.
Yeah.
And it was just fine with me. It's their schools are different than weddings, but yeah. So that's, music wise, that's what I see, the trending end, and, with my other guys kind of in the same realm of what they're seeing. So this summer, I did a deep dive, and kind of resurrected some of our, our, I'll call usable crate stuff.
Sure. Yeah.
weddings,
Freshen up the crates a little bit.
to be able to pull some of that stuff out to get those oohs and ahs, because there's nothing like that. Was Friday night. That's what we lived on. Like everything that was like, ooh, it's like, oh, we just hit the mark again. And then Saturday, because it was such a rager, like we didn't have to interact a ton, just enough, and we had a bunch of requests that were hitting, and it just worked, and it was crazy because like the requests that were hitting were bride requests anyway.
Yes,
So
I love that.
So we're pleasing the bride, but pleasing the group too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I love it. I'm already mixing it in, or I'm going to mix it next song. It's going to be a perfect mix, and they're going to be blown away.
Yep.
Because I just requested this.
Yep.
It's so mixed so well. I'm like,
I enjoy that when you're so in tune, somebody comes up and requests something, and you're like, look, I'm playing it next.
Get out of my head.
We're right here, right here.
I've offered people jobs when they come up 3 or 4 times and they're always right. You know, like I was like, you have a knack for this. Because playing the best song is the move, you know. I've seen a similar thing. Some of the newer stuff, it's a lot of TikTok based. Chapel Roan, Sabrina Carpenter. I mean, those are big artists and they're growing all the time. Occasionally you'll get T Grizzly and some of these trap rap and mumble rap kind of stuff. But it's a lot of pop. It's a lot of upbeat, fun stuff. But yeah, a lot of the classics and a lot of the 2010s. I mean, Flo Rida, Pitbull, you know, the usual names, Kesha, still hits big. I really try to do like, how old are the bride and groom? What year do they graduate? High school, middle school, you know, that kind of. And then their friends, do they have friends older, younger? Who is going to be there? Like, is it mostly the parents of the bride and groom and their friends, or is it mostly the friends of the couple? And that kind of, when in doubt, hit them with this. Because we had 2 Fridays ago. He was like, yeah, I love club music, I love EDM. But for a reason, he wasn't dancing, and that his crowd wasn't responding to that stuff. But he gave me a lot of that stuff, and I was like, okay, well, let me try it. It just wasn't hitting, so we switched it up, you know, into more pop stuff. But generally, I let that kind of lead. Like, oh, so they're, you know, what were they listening to in 8th grade? And I was like, oh man, they're gonna love, you know, Misery Business, The Killers, you know, Blink-182. It's gonna be a sing-along, you know, kind of night, but that's okay. That's just what that crowd wants, especially if that's what the crowd wants. It's fantastic. And then I'll mix in something else. But lately, I love mashing up. I loved, especially when it crosses genres, country, like you're saying, and Post Malone. Or I do have a Morgan Wallen song that's mashed with Backstreet Boys.
Oh,
You Proof. It's pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah, and it has all the things you want in it. You know, I love when I can find that, where I can mix those together like that. Or when I'll just drop an acapella, like just like the chorus of a song, people singing on a beat for the next song, and just that's the best feeling when you get that.
Are you doing that with you're using Serato stems?
I'll do that with stems, or I'll just get some DJ edits where they you know, the outro is the acapella, and I'll just drop it. I already know how I want to mix it, and I know that you know, that bass line or that drum line is going to sound great on the lead in on that, and then it just goes right into the next song.
This like I talked about said about the stems. You know, you're a Serato man.
Yeah.
For anybody non-DJ, this isn't going to make any sense, but I'm a Tractor person, Native Instruments. And they just dropped Tractor 4, which has stems.
Nice.
So one of my guys, John Z, was like, when are we upgrading? And I'm like, after the first edit. Like, because there's going to be bugs and all sorts of stuff. And we're not going to upgrade. We're going to wait until, you know, they actually do one bug fix and then
make sure it's, because we got to trust this with a dance floor.
Yeah. So he was like, because he's using some alternate software along with Tractor, and you know, he's very good at making things happen. So he was like, oh, so close. I'm like, I'm gonna guess September, October. Yeah, that's when we'll be able to upgrade.
I love it.
And it just makes our job easier. You know, with the DJ edits, like I love an acapella out or an acapella intro. Yeah, because you put it on anything.
You look amazing. You're just dropping a song, you know.
We know it's all about playing the right song at the right time. But there is a huge difference between playing the right song in the right time and mixing it right.
Yes.
Because that keeps that energy going. You can do drops. You can do those acapellas where maybe you don't even put a bass line behind it because you know your group is a singing group. And as soon as they hear it, they're going to start singing it. And it doesn't matter. And then you have that drop that when it kicks in and you've got your lights going, it's like, this is where it's at. And, you know, people feel like, you know, they're at a concert versus at a wedding because you are doing everything so well. Like there's
the live performance aspect to it.
Yeah. And it's been a while since I've been with you at a wedding, but like you were killing it the last wedding that I was at with doing some of that stuff where it was just like, oh, Mike's in the zone right now. And your people responded on it.
I like when they do. That's the best, right? When when the crowd's loving it, I'm like, oh, next, yes. And you just keep them going. I like to dance them till they're dead. Like I'm tired. I need a slow song and I need a drink. I'm so exhausted. That's my favorite. I'm like, here, good. you guys will sleep well tonight.
Yeah, I got accused on Saturday from Johnsy because he was with me. He's like, I think you burnt them out too early. I'm like, most of the people here that are, actually full on dancing and were under 30. I'm like, they're going to go hard all night long.
Yeah.
And end of the night, I'm like, they never stopped.
Yes.
I'm like, they had plenty. We did some, some slower stuff, and we're able to give them some breaks with still using bride stuff that she wanted. And,
Yeah.
But he was concerned early. He's like, we're going too hard. And I'm like, no, we're not. This is they trained for this.
Yes. Yes.
Like it was the groom was in the military, and so there were a decent amount of fellas from the military. I'm like, these guys are trained professionals.
They never quit.
Yeah, I'm like, they're going to keep going. I promise. As long as we're going, they're going. And it was just like, yeah, I'm not concerned about that. And then the night, like, no, they were still going strong.
Oh, I love it.
So
you still do that late night photo, the Cool Kids Club?
Cool clip. We did it twice. I actually just put my Friday wedding. I just put those photos out, and then my Saturday wedding I'll put out tonight or tomorrow. But yeah.
That's a cool thing. I don't do it every wedding. I do it when I'm like, this feels right. Like, let's do it. I would love to do it every wedding, but I'm like, I just want to. Yeah, it feels right. It's such a cool thing.
I've been lazy on social media. My youngest daughter is graduated, going to school for marketing this year, and so she's taking over social media for me. So it's just a lot.
Yes,
It's a lot, and she's eager to do it, and I've been throwing stuff at her for editing purpose and whatnot, just to pick her brain and see where she's at. And I was like, girl, you're good. Much better than me. So here, please take this over. And yeah, so, but I've got like, I don't know how many weddings that I haven't put any information out on. There's, just basically footage, whether it's video or photos, to get out, because I don't know, I was kind of tired, so I've been lazy on that. But
yeah, it's hard. It's summer too. It's just
I'll start getting back into the motivation, especially with my daughter. I can just go like, hey, here's this wedding. I know it was from say middle of June, but do something with this material. Put something out, please.
Yes, yeah. That's I've kind of slept on that the last few weeks too. Same reasons. It's just hitting that midsummer dip. And I'm getting ready to recharge, and I know it's gonna be a busy August, September, November, man, October, yeah.
Like proms, we're like just editing that stuff and getting it out. And prom videos always do well, like a few 100,000 views on them, and of course some kids, oh, that's so lame, or whatever new verbiage that they're using.
Sure.
Some kids, oh, this is awesome, but either way, I guess even bad or good, it's still good content, right? But social media, necessary evil.
I guess so. It's so crazy. It didn't exist when I first started DJing, and now it's like forefront.
And unfortunately, it's a necessary evil. And I don't know how much you paid attention to the analytics on it, but like I've been on a lull. I put stuff out and immediately starting getting inquiry off of, where do you see it? Facebook.
Wow.
Because the bride that I put stuff out, she shared it, venue shared it, and then photographer shared it. This is yesterday.
Man.
Yesterday at noon, and I ended up getting 10 inquiries. Now, were they all off Facebook? No, but I bet 5 of them were, and I would say easily from that singular post. So clearly
there's a reaction. Yeah, that's where you got to go where people are, and that's where people are. They're online.
Yeah,
and
it's between Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah, and that's why I started. It's part of why I started the podcast, was to like have that content that I can regularly post. That just a clip and a little teaser, and then let's get more interested in this company. And then I found that I can have other vendors that I love and love working with and love what they do, and they do it in a similar but a very unique, different way. That we can all learn from, and that's why I love doing this. Is to kind of highlight other vendors' work. And
I promise, I am the #1 podcast fan.
I love it. Well, thank you so much. We so appreciate it, and I definitely want to do it again soon. And we should definitely get together with dates on I'd love to shadow you and have you shadow me and
Oh, absolutely.
do some
We're overdue.
some more team up on these weddings, and then we'll have more stories to tell about some of these crazy things that happen. So
More photos, more video. Yeah.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, awesome. Well, thank you. This has been the DJ Insider Podcast. I'm Mike with Amplified Events.
I'm Joe with the Rusted Sounds.
And we will see you at your wedding. Thanks, guys.